Hey there, so just a little bit of a farm update on our mares. Pasture breeding has really been a new concept for me as a handler. I just really haven't done a lot of it, but I've really been experimenting with it over the last few years. And I can honestly say that you have to be a little bit better equipped by having some kind of, let me try to get light here. You need to have some kind of a teasing structure set up in your mare pasture or your mare paddock, which I've wanted to build over the last few years and have not. So I think that last year we caught mares on their first cycle, which is generally a longer heat, or something went wrong. I bred them on two different occasions, a week apart, and I don't have anything happening yet. No bags, and the mares just don't look, bountiful with pregnancy. Kind of a bummer. These reins here have kind of like shown their true shape below the hair. So I think that all I can say is that when you hand breed and you hand tease, it's much more successful. I never had a problem when I would hand tease and hand breed. I just knew the cycle a lot closer. So the only thing I can say is that if you want to pasture breed, you have to have an area clearly set up where your horse can go deep into the area where the mares are and where he can tease them without breeding them, when they're not pregnant, or chasing them around, or everybody getting into way too much exercise for the situation. I think that's a better idea. Yep, I do. So, nothing for this year. And it's not a problem for us. It's not like we are those people who have to pump out foals every year. I just do have these two mares, and I would like to have a couple more babies. One mare I have here, I don't have a foal out of her yet. She was new to us, so I really want one from her. And that's about it. Have a great day. Hey there, so I just put a few photos of a teasing structure to use when pasture breeding, different things that I've looked at. With pasture breeding having some unreliabilities, people would wonder, why would you want to do that? Well, I think that it is looking at my stallion and seeing how close I can get him with my mares and keep him happy throughout his life. This is something that's very natural for the herd. And the other reason is simply that I try to manage things totally on my own if I can. So pasture breeding is something that is really appealing to me for that reason. Everybody knows my partner John, he does not like holding mares when I bring a stallion up to him, but if I had an outside horse, an outside mare, I would hand tease and hand breed just to make sure it was 100%. But since the horses that we have here are all of ours, that's why I like to try different things. I think the courtship that's involved in the whole breeding aspect of horses is a real vital piece. Though we condense it, you know, when we hand breed and stuff like that. I don't know, I just want a happy stallion. And when I purchased him, he was a pasture breeding stallion. He actually grew up and was raised with mares. The problem is that I've removed him from that type of an environment and have made accommodations. Every time I've hand bred him and hand teased him, I've always had success. And then there was one winter where I let my stud live with his pregnant mare, only one mare, for the entire duration of her pregnancy, and then removed him when it was 1 month out for her foaling. It was just something that I wanted to do. You know, stallions generally are kept separate from the rest of the horses. It's not like they have pasture buddies and things like that, so it was a whole interesting thing. But now when you have more than one mare, you're obviously not going to be able to be as in tune to the cycles of each. And then, well, with this last spring's breeding, I had my stallion turned out twice, and they were all receptive and allowed him to breed. And I actually had them on two different sessions a week apart. So why I'm looking at having a tease pen put inside of my mare's paddock is just to make it easier. If I have them fenced outside of that paddock, I can bring my stallion in by myself, turn him in, I'll put him inside of the teasing structure, and then I can let the mares out into that paddock and I can observe and document. And it's also a good way to allow teasing to occur without anybody getting injured. When I have my stud turned out to breed, like I did last summer, before I lost my thought here, he bred mares every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, almost on the mark. So that is a lot of stress on a stallion's hocks. And pasture breeding does have its, you know, wear on a horse. So I'm trying to facilitate some of that natural courtship, yet I also want to kind of protect my stallion a little bit. He's great with the mares. I'm never worried about a mare getting injured. I'm not. And through my last few years of working with the pasture breeding, I had a mare who hadn't been with a stud for many, many years. Like, gosh, I think it was probably about, I don't know, it was a long time. More than 5 years, maybe 7. So she would come in and she just would not let the stud touch her. I mean, it just, until I had my stud in with 2 mares where she was the second mare, because one of the mares knew him and was very receptive, and then all of a sudden everything fixed itself. Next thing you know, my stallion is now covering the mare that I was having problems with. So all I'm trying to do is just really enjoy my horses, learn more about the herd instincts, learn more about the communication and the courtship, and that really is, I mean, that really is why I've been allowing the pasture breeding here. Plus I had a stud that was raised that way. So, but how do you make it accurate? That's the whole thing. So what I have to really do, especially since there's more than one mare, is to have like a teasing structure built inside of where my mares are in a main paddock, because then I can observe and make marks on my calendar. And that's about it. Have a great day.